Hello, I'm Essay, your AI essayist. Please note that all content, audio and video in this presentation are AI generated. As AI can sometimes produce inaccuracies, I encourage you to verify any factual information presented. With that in mind, let's begin.
The Aeneid, composed by Publius Vergilius Maro, known commonly as Virgil, stands as a cornerstone of Western literature, a foundational epic poem that has shaped artistic, political, and cultural landscapes for millennia. This essay undertakes a comprehensive evaluation of the claims presented within the Aeneid itself, scrutinizing its arguments, internal logic, and the enduring power of its narrative. The examination will proceed section by section, delving into the poem's structure and dissecting Virgil's assertions concerning fate, piety, and the founding of Rome. This analysis will illuminate the complexities embedded within Virgil's masterpiece, revealing both its strengths and the areas where its arguments invite further scrutiny. Section 1. The storm and arrival in Carthage. The opening of the Aeneid immediately plunges the reader into the midst of conflict, both terrestrial and divine. Virgil asserts Juno's implacable hatred for the Trojan race as the primary cause for Aeneas' suffering. Juno's animosity, stemming from the judgment of Paris and the perceived slight to her divine beauty, is presented as a fundamental driving force, shaping the very course of Aeneas' journey. Virgil establishes a claim that divine intervention, often capricious and driven by personal grievances, dictates mortal destinies. However, a nuanced reading suggests a more complex interplay between divine will and human agency. While Juno instigates the storm, Neptune's intervention, a consequence of his concern for the ocean's order, demonstrates a counterbalancing force, suggesting that even divine power is subject to limitations and the need for equilibrium. Virgil posits Aeneas as a figure of unparalleled piety, a man devoted to fulfilling his divinely ordained destiny. This sets the stage for the epic and outlines how he must obey his fate. Section 2. Dido's court and the recounting of Troy's fall. Arriving in Carthage, Aeneas is welcomed by Queen Dido, a figure of both power and vulnerability. Here, Virgil introduces a theme of hospitality and the allure of a settled life, directly contrasting it with the relentless demands of fate. Aeneas, at Dido's request, recounts the fall of Troy, a narrative filled with pathos and strategic deception. Virgil's description of the Trojan horse incident hinges on the claim that the Trojans were ultimately undone by their misplaced trust and their violation of sacred space. The narrative asserts that Laocoon's warning was disregarded, not due to ignorance, but due to the deliberate manipulation of the Trojans by the gods, specifically Minerva. This claim casts the Trojans as victims of divine machinations, furthering the idea that human free will is often subservient to the whims of the divine. It also presents a cautionary tale about the dangers of hubris and the consequences of ignoring divine warnings. Section 3. The love affair and Dido's tragic end. The burgeoning love affair between Aeneas and Dido becomes a central point of conflict, underscoring the tension between personal desire and civic duty. Virgil attributes the consummation of their relationship to divine intervention, specifically the manipulations of Venus and Juno, who see in the union a temporary respite from their respective agendas. Venus seeks to protect Aeneas, while Juno hopes to divert him from Italy. This manipulation, however, does not absolve Aeneas of responsibility. Virgil presents Aeneas as torn between his love for Dido and his awareness of his ultimate destiny to found Rome. When Mercury appears to remind him of his duty, Aeneas chooses to abandon Dido, a decision that ultimately leads to her tragic suicide. Virgil presents Dido as a tragic figure, driven to despair by Aeneas' betrayal. Her curse upon Aeneas and his descendants lays the foundation for the future conflict between Rome and Carthage, asserting that personal betrayal can have far-reaching historical consequences. It establishes a claim that the Punic Wars were, at least in part, the result of a broken promise and a queen's unyielding rage. Section 4. The funeral games and journey to the underworld. Following his departure from Carthage, Aeneas arrives in Sicily, where he holds funeral games in honor of his father, Anchises. These games serve not only as a memorial but also as a demonstration of Trojan strength and resilience. Virgil portrays several sporting contests, emphasizing the values of courage, skill, and camaraderie. The games are presented as a means of solidifying Trojan identity and preparing them for the challenges ahead. The games also introduced a theme of destiny, as various events foreshadow future events in the Roman lineage. Aeneas then journeys to the underworld, guided by the Sibyl of Cumae. This descent is crucial to his understanding of his destiny and the future of Rome. Virgil presents the underworld as a complex and multifaceted realm, a reflection of both the physical and the psychological landscapes. Section 5. Anchises' prophecy and the vision of Rome. Within the underworld, Aeneas encounters his father, Anchises, who reveals to him the future glory of Rome. Anchises presents a panoramic vision of Roman history, showcasing the accomplishments of future Roman heroes and the establishment of a vast and powerful empire. Virgil here makes a bold claim that Rome's greatness is divinely ordained and that its history is predetermined. This prophecy serves as a justification for Roman expansion and dominance, asserting that the Romans are destined to rule the world. It also highlights the importance of Roman values, such as piety, duty, and courage, as essential to the fulfillment of this destiny. The prophecy solidifies Aeneas' commitment to his mission, providing him with a clear vision of what he must achieve. It demonstrates how his dedication to his fate also creates the future of Rome. Section 6. The arrival in Italy and conflict with Turnus. Aeneas and his Trojans finally arrive in Italy, the land promised to them by fate. However, their arrival is met with resistance from the native inhabitants, particularly Turnus, king of the Rutulians, who is betrothed to Lavinia, the daughter of King Latinus. Virgil portrays the conflict between Aeneas and Turnus as a clash between two competing destinies, a struggle for the future of Italy. Turnus is presented as a formidable warrior, driven by a desire to protect his kingdom and his claim to Lavinia. Virgil depicts Turnus with some sympathy, highlighting his courage and his genuine love for his people. He is not simply a hero, a worthy ad. Section 7. Alliances and battles. The conflict between the Trojans and the Rutulians escalates, drawing in various other Italian tribes. Both Aeneas and Turnus seek alliances to strengthen their forces. Virgil describes the complex web of alliances and betrayals that characterize the war. The gods continue to intervene in the conflict. Venus supports Aeneas, while Juno actively opposes him, further complicating the already volatile situation. The battles are depicted with vivid detail, showcasing the brutality and the heroism of both sides. Virgil's description of warfare emphasizes the physical and emotional toll of conflict. Section 8. Aeneas' shield and Turnus' fury. Vulcan forges a new shield for Aeneas, depicting scenes from Roman history, mirroring the shield of Achilles in Homer's Iliad. This shield serves as a visual representation of Aeneas' destiny and the future glory of Rome. The shield, like Anchises' prophecy, solidifies the idea that Rome's greatness is predetermined. It underscores the connection between Aeneas and the future of Rome. Turnus, fueled by rage and despair, becomes increasingly reckless and driven by desire for revenge. His fury blinds him to the consequences of his actions, leading him to make rash decisions. Virgil showcases the corrosive effects of anger and the dangers of allowing personal emotions to override reason. Section 9. The death of Pallas. The death of Pallas, the young son of Evander, a Trojan ally, represents a pivotal moment in the war. Turnus kills Pallas in battle, stripping him of his belt. Aeneas is consumed by grief and rage upon learning of Pallas' death. This event fuels Aeneas' desire for vengeance and intensifies the conflict. Virgil explores the themes of loss, grief, and the cycle of violence. Aeneas' reaction to Pallas' death highlights the destructive power of revenge. It propels him toward his final confrontation with Turnus. Section 10. The final duel and the fulfillment of fate. The epic culminates in a final duel between Aeneas and Turnus. Both warriors are driven by a sense of destiny, a belief that the outcome of the duel will determine the future of Italy. Aeneas wounds Turnus, and as Turnus pleads for mercy, Aeneas hesitates. However, upon seeing the belt of Pallas adorning Turnus, Aeneas is overcome with rage and kills Turnus. Virgil's depiction of this final act is ambiguous. It raises questions about Aeneas' character and the nature of his victory. While Aeneas fulfills his destiny by defeating Turnus, his act of vengeance seems to contradict his earlier portrayal as a pious and just leader. The poem concludes with a sense of both triumph and tragedy, suggesting that the founding of Rome is achieved at a great human cost. Virgil's placement of this tragedy at the very end illustrates the deep connection between glory and the necessary sacrifice, as well as the moral burden of leadership. Section 11 Piety and Imperium, a critical reassessment. The Aeneid consistently claims Aeneas' piety as a defining characteristic, yet his actions often contradict this portrayal. His abandonment of Dido, his ultimate act of vengeance against Turnus, and even his unwavering obedience to the gods sometimes appear to prioritize personal ambition and political expediency over genuine compassion or moral righteousness. Virgil presents Aeneas as a flawed hero, a figure who embodies the ambiguities of leadership and the moral compromises necessary to achieve greatness. It is evident that, at his core, Aeneas is a soldier tasked with founding an empire. One must remember that the epic poem was written during the reign of Emperor Augustus, the first Roman emperor. Virgil, therefore, writes under the considerable political pressure to create a foundational myth that legitimizes the Roman Empire under its first emperor as the natural continuation of the will of the gods. The Aeneid also presents a teleological view of history, portraying the Roman Empire as the inevitable culmination of a divinely ordained plan. While this narrative served to legitimize Roman power and promote national unity, it also raises questions about the role of free will and the potential for human agency. Section 12, the enduring significance of the Aeneid's claims. Despite its ambiguities and its complex portrayal of its central character, the Aeneid remains a powerful and influential work of literature. Virgil's claims about fate, piety, and the founding of Rome have shaped Western thought and culture for centuries. The poem's exploration of themes such as love, loss, duty, and the cost of empire continues to resonate with readers today. The Aeneid serves as a reminder of the enduring power of myth and the complexities of the human condition. Its impact extends far beyond the realm of literature, influencing political thought, artistic expression, and the very way in which societies understand their own origins and destinies. The continued study and analysis of the Aeneid remains essential for understanding the foundations of Western civilization and the enduring power of epic storytelling. In conclusion, the Aeneid presents a multifaceted and often contradictory set of claims regarding fate, piety, and the founding of Rome. While Virgil asserts the inevitability of Roman destiny and the importance of piety in achieving it, the poem also reveals the ambiguities of human action and the moral compromises inherent in the pursuit of power. It is this very complexity that makes the Aeneid such a compelling and enduring work of literature, one that continues to challenge and inspire readers centuries after its composition. The poem's enduring significance lies not only in its articulation of Roman values and aspirations, but also in its exploration of the enduring human struggles that transcend time and culture. It offers us an insight into the origins of one of the world's largest, culturally rich, and influential empires.
We really appreciate you tuning into this AI-powered presentation. Our goal is to push the boundaries of AI in content creation, and your input is invaluable. If there's a particular subject you'd like to see us tackle next, or if you have suggestions on how we could fine-tune our AI's creative prompts, please don't hesitate to leave your ideas in the comments section. We're excited to bring you more unique content very soon.